Greetings, this is George Kahn. I'll be your host for today's Quiet Echo. A woman brought her car into my shop last week. The check engine light had been on for 3 days. She was worried. She thought it might be the transmission. It was a loose gas cap. I could have told her in 10 minutes, but she did not come to me first. She went to the dealer. They charged her $189 for the diagnostic. They told her the vehicle needed a software update before they could clear the code. She waited 2 hours. She paid. She drove home. The light came back on the next morning. Then she came to my shop. I plugged in my scanner. I tightened the cap. I cleared the code. I charged her nothing. But the gas cap is not the story. The story is what happens next year or the year after when I might not be able to do even this much. Because the manufacturers are building cars I am not allowed to fix. I have been a mechanic in Cedar Valley for a long time. I know what a timing chain sounds like before it fails. I know the difference between a wheel bearing and a CV joint by the way the noise changes in a turn. I can tell you what is wrong with your car before I open the hood, sometimes just by listening to it idle in the parking lot. None of this matters if the computer will not let me in. The Right to Equitable and Professional Auto Industry Repair Act, the Repair Act cleared the House Energy and Commerce Committee in late February. It is heading to the full House with bipartisan support. Representatives Neil Dunn of Florida, Brendan Boyle of Pennsylvania, Warren Davidson of Ohio, and Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez of Washington introduced it with a dozen co-sponsors from both parties. The bill would require automakers to give vehicle owners and independent shops access to the same diagnostic data, tools, and software they provide to their dealer networks. It would prohibit manufacturers from using technological or legal barriers to block independent repair. And it would give car owners control over their own vehicle data. Here is why this matters to you even if you have never thought about it. 70% of all post-warranty repair work on 292 million registered vehicles in this country is handled by independent shops. According to the Auto Care Alliance, more than 60% of independent facilities now report difficulty completing routine repairs because manufacturers restrict access to diagnostic systems. More than half send up to 5 vehicles a month back to the dealer, not because they cannot do the work, but because the software will not let them. I have lived this. A customer brings in a 2024 pickup. The blind spot monitor needs reprogramming after a mirror replacement. I have the tools. I have the training. But the system requires a dealer-only authorization code, so I tell the customer to drive to Millfield. He pays the dealer $280 for a 15-minute software handshake I could have done for a third of the price. Lars Olson wrote about this last week from the farmer's side. The EPA told equipment manufacturers in February they cannot use the Clean Air Act to lock farmers out of their own tractors. A farmer who owns a $400,000 combine should not need a dealer appointment to replace a $12 fitting. Lars and I are telling the same story from different counters. His smells like potting soil and wood screws. Mine smells like brake dust and coffee. Representative Gluesenkamp-Perez, who used to own an auto shop herself, said Americans want to be stewards of the things they own. They should not depend on a system designed to keep them coming back to the dealer. There is a competing proposal, the Safe Repair Act, backed by automakers. It emphasizes cybersecurity. Those concerns are real. Nobody wants a hacker accessing your car through an open data port, but the answer is encrypted. Authorized access the same way hospitals protect patient records without banning family doctors. I think about my father sometimes when I am under a car. He was not a mechanic. He sold insurance, but he changed his own oil. He replaced his own brake pads. He kept a socket set in the trunk the way some people keep an umbrella. He did not do it to save money, although it did. He did it because the car was his. He understood it. He took care of it. And when something broke, he fixed it, or he found someone he trusted to fix it. The auto repair industry supports 303,000 businesses in this country. Most of them look like mine, 2 or 3 bays. A waiting room with bad coffee. A mechanic who knows your car by the sound it makes pulling into the lot. These shops are not glamorous. They are not publicly traded. They do not have lobbyists in Washington. But they are the places people go when the light comes on and they need someone to tell them the truth. I am not asking for special treatment. I am asking for what every mechanic in this country used to have. The ability to open the hood, read the codes, and fix what is broken. The car does not belong to the manufacturer after the sale. It belongs to the person who is still making payments on it. Lars collects signatures at his hardware store counter. My hands are usually covered in brake dust, so I collect something else stories. A woman with a loose gas cap who paid $189 because the system sent her to the dealer first. A man who drove 30 miles to Millfield for a 15-minute software update. A teenager whose parents could not afford the dealer price and drove on a warning light for 2 months until it became something worse. Multiply those stories by 292 million vehicles. This is not a repair problem. It is a trust problem. And trust in this town is the only currency worth anything. This is George Kahn, your host for today's Quiet Echo. Thanks for listening. Quiet Echo is part of the fictional Cedar Valley News series, written by Evan Swenson, publisher, publication consultants, and Claude Marshall, AI developmental editor. While the people in town are fictional, the national events they reflect on are real. The front porch is open. Readers of the Cedar Valley News are gathering on Facebook to respond to the editorials, share their own stories, and join a conversation built on respect, honesty, and no party lines. Come sit with us. I will put the link in the show notes.
You've been listening to the Cedar Valley News Podcast, where small-town voices meet the headlines shaping our world. From faith and family to front porches and fields. We'll be back with more stories connecting real lives to real events. Until next time, keep your porch light on, your faith strong, and your heart open.